At this time, it is my pleasure to welcome Kristin Bowl to Healing, Hope, and Health. Kristin is the owner of Skipjack Web Services, which caters to the needs of small businesses and organizations looking for attractive, user-friendly, effective websites at affordable rates. In celebration of the Town of Boonsboro's 225th anniversary, she recently partnered with the Boonsboro Historical Society to spearhead a unique program at the Boonsboro Community Life Center called Pass It On. She joins us today to explain how this exciting program commemorates the town's past while it strengthens the present and preserves the history for the future. Welcome, Kristin. I'm so glad you could be here today.
Thanks, Bernadette. It's a real pleasure.
Great. So before we talk about Pass It On, just first tell our viewers a little bit about how long Skipjack Web Services has been in existence and how viewers can find out more about your company.
Absolutely. So we're a small business that serves other small businesses and organizations. We founded about 15 years ago, so we've been around for a while. My husband started the business as a means of helping small businesses be able to maintain their own websites. And really, that's still what we do. Okay. We have a variety of clients, and we just really feel passionate and love the work.
That's great. That's great. So the Boonsboro Historical Society, they're passionate about celebrating the town's past and commemorating the history. It's held numerous events this year. Could you tell us about some of those events and also your role with Pass It On?
Sure. So Boonsboro celebrated its 225th anniversary this year, founded in 1792. And the committee that was formed with the Boonsboro Economic Development Commission and the Historical Society came together to plan a whole year of great events for every citizen of Boonsboro. It was a variety of things. We kicked off with a great event at Big Cork at the Vineyard with music and historical presentations and food. And we had a birthday party in Schaefer Park. We had a Boonsboro night at the Hagerstown Suns.
You had the race?
We had a race in September.
2.25 miles,
exactly.
Right?
We had a 2.25 mile race, which was lovely. So many people came out. Great community spirit. We also had a play that we asked the Barbara Ingram School to write and direct and perform. It was wonderful.
How exciting.
It was about the Heck brothers in Boonsboro, one of which fought for the North in the Civil War, one of which fought for the South. It was a really interesting story. And so it's not over yet. We have some other things that are going on, namely the project that I'm here to discuss called Pass It On.
Yeah, so tell us a little bit about Pass It On, how it was conceived and where you are in the process.
Sure. So 2 years ago, the Historical Society asked me to create a pretty simple website for them. And in the process of creating it, I just started thinking to myself, I love history and I love Boonsboro. How neat would it be if we were able to get historical photos from our citizens and preserve them, put them on the website for everyone to see? And also even to do oral histories, to interview some of our oldest residents and try to preserve the memories that they have, even their own speaking voice, right. For anyone to be able to hear.
Sort of like StoryCorps for Boonsboro.
It was, yes, absolutely. Problem was, we just didn't have the resources to be able to pursue it. Great idea, but we needed those. Yeah, it costs money. So thankfully with this 225th, all these events going on this year, our wonderful co-chairs, Chuck Schwalbe and Amy Gibson, were able to pursue a grant through the Mary Kay Bowman Fund. It's a historical and fine arts fund at the Community Foundation of Washington County. And they received it. And so that meant that we were able to get the green light and start working on it. It's been really, really wonderful.
So through Pass It On, people shared those documents and photos and you scanned them, is that correct?
Absolutely. It's an ongoing effort.
Okay.
But as you know, we held a specific event at the Community Life Center, Hospice Community Life Center in Boonsboro, which was wonderful. What a beautiful facility. Thank you for having us.
Sure, our pleasure.
So we had a number of people come in and bring their photos that day to be scanned and preserved forever. Probably we all have older photos at home. I know my mom had a whole bag of our family photos she had brought up from the basement. She had it in the laundry room. Unfortunately, the washer flooded. The whole bag was ruined. Oh, no. Before things like that happen, we want to get a hold of these wonderful photos in attics and basements and boxes, wherever, and preserve those.
Do you have any idea of how many photos and documents you've been able to preserve so far?
So far it's been in the hundreds. I don't have an exact count because they're still coming in, and I have appointments for more people to bring us photos. But they've also been, brochures, or one was a program from the 1930s at Boonsboro High School. They had an Irish operetta, and it was so neat to look back and see that. So
maybe the kids could do that this year too.
Perhaps.
So Kristin, what will you do? You said you're going to put these on the town's on the Historical Society's website, but can people go actually and see these as well? Where
absolutely.
Can they go see them?
So if they go to boonsboro225.org, is the shortened URL, but eventually it's just boonsborohistoricalsociety.org, and we will have all of them on there with keywords, so they'll be tagged. So if you go in and you say Civil War, any photos that might have something to do with the Civil War, any of the interviews that we're doing, the oral histories, if the person said something like, my great-great-great-grandfather did such and such, and it had something related to the Civil War, it will be tagged with that. So if they do a search, anything related to the topic they're interested in will come up, or they can just go on and browse and learn more about just about anything.
And is there a physical location where they can see the physical documents as well? Will they be preserved in a museum?
Well, the people who brought their photos took them home with them.
Okay.
So these are electronic versions of the photos. Okay. Some of them are already being displayed, say, at the Trolley Museum. Okay. There will be photos at the new National Road Heritage Museum when it's opened. There's some things at the Bowman House, which is the headquarters of the Historical Society and a beautiful home in Boonsboro. But the main gist of it is to preserve it, so we'll have it in electronic archives and then available on the website.
Great, great. So you mentioned the oral histories. I was wondering, have you been a part of that? And if so, do you have any favorite stories that you can share with us?
Yes, I've interviewed a handful of people so far. They've been really diverse and very interesting. One gentleman's in his 90s. He was at the Battle of the Bulge during World War II, and he talked about some of his memories of that, some of the local boys who fought with him. He brought in a photo, which was really neat. The 5 of them locally who went and served in his unit. But just this past week, I interviewed Darcy Easton. Darcy is in her late 80s. When she was 6 years old, she moved to the Washington Monument State Park. Her dad was the first superintendent at the park. And she had all these wonderful memories of things that had happened.
I'd like to live at a state park.
Well, her mother didn't. They had the museum in their living room. Darcy would be in their living room playing the piano, practicing, and guests would show up to the park. Oh. And she'd have to scoot out so that they could come in and look at the museum, which was also in their living room.
That's funny. Well, we're getting short on time, but I just know that you have a historical church tour coming. Can you talk a little bit briefly about that? So
there's still some 225th opportunities. We have Boonsboro Reflections, which are really neat posts that are done with all kinds of little vignettes of Boonsboro history. They can go on the website and see, or our Facebook page. You can continue to contribute photos, and we are having a church walking tour. There'll be 5 historical churches in Boonsboro, and you can walk around to each one. There will be someone to answer questions. There may be music and some refreshments, and it's all done around Christmas time, December 17th. Great, great. Well, thank you so much for being here. I appreciate your time. Absolutely. I'd like to thank Kristin for joining us on today's program. I'm grateful to her and the members of the Boonsboro Historical Society for celebrating and preserving local history. As we look to the past, there's much we can learn to help ensure a brighter, healthier future. If you want to learn more about this project, visit boonsboro225th.org or email Kristin at kristin@skipjackweb.com. If, like Kristin, you have a passion, talent, or expertise you would like to share with the broader community, I invite you to contact me to learn how you can use one of Hospice of Washington County's 3 wonderful community life centers. You can reach me by calling 301-791-6360 or emailing me at bmwagner@hospiceofwc.org. It's November, the month we celebrate Thanksgiving. Today, I'm grateful for the opportunity to talk with you about the compassionate care provided by Hospice of Washington County and for the wonderful people who present interesting, informative programs. It's true, we are stronger and better together. Thanks for joining us today for Healing, Hope, and Health. Have a happy Thanksgiving, and we'll see you next time.
Looking through the lens, I see you smiling there. I take a photograph in my mind.